On today's episode of the Welloff podcast, we're going to get a little glimpse into reality TV and what it's really like. Because, Tara, we have a reality star on our show.
And this woman has overcome tremendous obstacles to be where she is today. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Welloff podcast. Tara, it is spring and I am so excited.
At long last, Gina. It's been a long, hard winter.
Girl, I know. Don't I know it? And you've been fortunate to get down to Florida a few times over the winter, but you really haven't had the best weather, have you?
No, it was cold when I was in Florida, but I just came back not that long ago from a very amazing adventure on the seas. I went on a cruise on a humongous clipper ship that sailed out of Barbados, and we went to the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Martinique. It was unbelievable.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. It sounds amazing.
So that made up for the whole winter and a trip to Florida that was super cold.
Oh, that's amazing. So I did go to Florida as well for a weekend in January, and I was down there for work. Give a big shout out to Pepe's Pizza. So Frank Pepe's Pizza, the best New Haven pizza, and now getting very global. They have a couple of shops down in Florida. So yeah, so I went down there. It was freezing. It was raining. It was like 60 degrees, like close to Miami. But at this event that they had, I met this woman and we were just like chatting, and I love to talk to everybody, and we were chatting about the weather and the pizza, and of course one thing leads to another, and I'm like, you want to be on our podcast? Like, you would be a great guest. So she was kind of talking about, she's a fitness trainer. She's been on a lot of reality TV shows, and she does like adventure guides. Have you ever heard of these?
No, girl. So, when I say the word adventure, I mean like vacation. I don't mean like an actual adventure. No, I don't mean it.
But I one of my friends, Allison, she goes on these, like, she just went to Italy on this like adventure guide, and it's like a group of women kind of go and they like hike through all these mountains and run, and not for me, but she absolutely loves it. And so it was funny when our guest today was kind of talking about that's what she does. I'm like, oh my God, I have a friend that does that. And I actually kind of thought they knew each other, but it turns out they don't. But anyway, I'm really excited to kind of dive into this because she's got a really unique story. She has overcome a lot of obstacles and kind of persevered. And, that's kind of the theme of our podcast is people overcoming obstacles.
Absolutely. And flourishing from it.
Yes.
So I'm super excited that you met this lovely lady on your cold journey to Florida. But you know what? It was 37 when I was there. So I think I had you beat, really cold. But listeners, you are in for a treat today. In studio, we have Brooke Van Paris. Brooke is a master personal trainer, a dive master, and an adventure guide, which is not our kind of adventure, which is shopping. This is like for real adventures. And she has an amazing story that we can't wait to hear. Brooke, welcome to the Welloff podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
And you're in sunny Florida right now, where it's warmer than it is here in the Northeast.
Yes, it's 85 and the sun is sunny.
I mean, it's warmer here. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's getting warmer, but it's not 85.
Not that.
No.
They don't call it the Sunshine State for nothing.
That's right. Well, we're excited to meet you. And I know I've heard some of your story, but like our listeners, I want to hear the whole thing. So please tell us who you are, where have you been, and how did you get here?
Well, I'm a born and raised Hoosier, of which I'm very proud of this year. Our football team made quite a name for ourselves. I did work for the football team when I was at Indiana University. I was in charge of their official recruits, but we weren't quite as amazing as we were this year. So I still have a lot of love for my my alma mater.
Congratulations on that big win. And Tara, they won the national football championship.
I actually was in a bar when the game was on. So see, I somehow know these things.
I love it.
I was like, what's
so
going
proud.
on here? What's going on?
See, so Brooke, Tara's not the sports aficionado. That would be me. So I've been teaching her about all the sports.
Yeah, I'm getting better though.
She is.
Better.
Well, Indiana University is kind of where my story begins. When I was going to school there, I was going to the Kelley School of Business, and I had just left a midterm. I was 19 years old, and this was the fall of that year. So I was leaving class on October 29, 2009. My life changed forever. I was passing through an intersection next to the stadium, and as I was proceeding through that intersection, I was hit head on. My SUV did two 360s, all four tires blew, the windshield shattered, the engine came off its hinges onto my lap, and I was stuck in my car.
So scary.
Wow.
Very scary.
Chills.
Very scary. And for being so young, I had never been in that kind of a atmosphere, like car accident before. So when I saw smoke in my car, my first instinct is that my car was on fire. It was not. What it was is the dust from the airbag exploding. And so the pedals wrapped around my feet. My adrenaline told me to get out. And I did. I got my feet out of my shoes, and I ran into the intersection. My adrenaline was pumping, and somehow the frat guys who were crossing the road that the other woman wanted to turn onto, they grabbed me out of the intersection because I was running, screaming. I was terrified for my life. I had no idea what had just happened. I didn't even know I was just in an accident. I made a phone call from one of their phones to my parents, and at the same time, almost every single person realized it at the time, but I had compound fractures in both my hands. I still to this day do not know, besides God and adrenaline, how I was able to get out of my car, how I was able to punch in numbers on a phone and have the wherewithal to call my parents. But essentially, it was resounding screaming that I just basically had shattered both of my hands in the car accident. And that journey didn't stop there. So
so you were a competitive gymnast, correct?
So I had done gymnastics all my life, and at Indiana University, I was doing club gymnastics at the time.
Right.
So I was kind of always somebody who was in the athletic realm. And this kind of took everything in my life away from me, my independence, my athleticism, everything but my education, essentially. And so a journey was not supposed to be that long. You know, usually normal breaks are 4 to 6 weeks, but the journey that God had in store for me ended up being 2 full years.
Wow. Of healing.
Yeah. Yes. So every 6 months, essentially, there would be things that were wrong in the healing. Like, the second surgery, basically my finger had healed and it wasn't like bending in the right direction. So they rebroke my right hand. And then 6 months later, I had trigger finger, and they had to have surgery on my tendons because my fingers were getting stuck in the wrong positions when I would go to make a fist. God. And then because I am ever so lucky, I thought I was experiencing early arthritis, and what it turns out to be is I was allergic to all the metal that they had just put in.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Like the pins and screws. Wow.
Yes. So I had a plate, a pin, and 5 screws. I had external pins, everything. So by the 4th surgery, they had to literally take everything back out just because I was allergic to all of it, and it was causing a reaction in my body. So essentially, I had 4 surgeries on the right hand alone. Yeah.
Wow.
And you couldn't, so you couldn't write. Are you right-handed?
Yes.
So you couldn't write, you couldn't do anything. Like how
No.
Could you do all
So
these
the
things?
left hand was also broken. So I basically was in casts that were called ulna gutter splints, and they essentially were shaped like this, and I looked like I had Barbie hands, but just operating of my thumbs for 2 years of the last 2 years I finished school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So couldn't feed or bathe myself. And basically at the time, I was very defeated. My parents lived in Indianapolis, and my dad said, Brooke, your education is something that no one can take away from you. And if you want to stay in school full time, your mom and I will figure out a way to make it happen. And so my mom was the caregiver after every single surgery. She was the one, she's a former nurse. She was the one who was taking care of me a lot during that time. And then my dad was making the trips down to IU couple times a week to kind of feed, bathe me, and help me like with whatever schoolwork that I had.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's March, and I don't know about you, but as I am recovering from a long, hard winter, I am looking for comfort and luxury.
Same, Tara. And the best way to do that is with our Cozy Earth products.
My new favorite are Cozy Earth comforters. They're made from soft, lightweight, breathable fabric. It makes you feel like you're sleeping on a cat cloud. My temperature is regulated. I feel amazing.
And I especially love the socks. Did you know that Cozy Earth made socks, Tara?
I do now.
And they're so awesome. I've gotten a pair for everyone in my family.
Hey, you didn't get me a pair.
Oh, shoot.
I better rush to cozyearth.com and put in code CozyWellOff to get 20% and have my own socks.
Yes, and if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to tell them that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Welloff podcast. That's cozyearth.com and use code CozyWellOff for your discount.
Experience the craft behind the comfort and make every day feel intentional. Unbelievable. And if you've listened to the podcast, you would know I'm a psychotherapist and trauma is my specialty. And I mean, what a trauma, because not only did you have to endure the accident, but being broken and going through surgeries. I mean, that's traumatic, and missing out on such an important part of your life, right? The fun years, the last years of college. I mean, it's a huge blow.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think the thing is you never see the dots connecting looking forward, but you certainly do looking back. And a lot of times when you're in the deep, dark hole, you're wondering, especially to God and whatever, why did you allow something so tragic to happen to me? But looking back, I can see that it's led me into my purpose and a lot of the things that I've been able to do in life with helping others. And it's given me a lot of courage and perspective and empathy. Unfortunately, you get to see the humanity side of things, and you get to see when you're going through trauma who shows up in your life, and it's not your closest friends. Yeah. It's strangers.
That's funny. I was actually talking about that to one of my friends the other day about when someone experiences trauma or, an illness or something of that matter, how there's people in your lives that like fall off. And, when I was diagnosed with cancer years ago, and I really only lost maybe like one or two friends that like couldn't handle it and just, kind of fell off the face. But I hear it so often, whereas like, I get sick and then I just find out who my friends are. Like,
or get divorced. That's another one. Nobody wants those cooties on them.
No, seriously. But yeah, so I just find that so fascinating. So you were experiencing that?
Yeah, so pretty much you have to think too, at 19, not everybody's gone through trauma. Okay. Sure. So number one, as an adult, as a 35-year-old woman now looking back on it, I have a lot of forgiveness for the people who didn't show up, because a lot of people don't understand how to show up for somebody in trauma. A lot of people also don't know what it's like to have a very independent, strong person going through trauma. So the main response, and what I have learned in my adult life to reframe, is most people say, let me know if you need help.
Right.
An independent person, when they need to be showered, when they need to have help going to the bathroom, it's very rare we're going to humble ourselves to ask for help for something that feels embarrassing and traumatic and shameful and like not like a great experience. We don't want to expose people to the dirty, gross aspects of what going through the ick and the suck is like. So we don't ask for help. So I have learned that instead of asking someone if they need help, you show up. You just do it.
That's right.
You show up.
That's right.
Because it's very hard for someone to have the courage to ask for help for themselves. So what it was is my best friend, who has been my best friend for years, and most women kind of experience something like this. But when I had started that semester, I was in a telecommunications class. And at the first start of the class, we were told, okay, you have to pick a partner and you're doing the year-end project with that person. You don't know who they are. And I searched around the class and I found a girl. And I looked at her, I said, you want to be partners? She said, yes. And just a few weeks later, I got in that car accident and she had been trying to get a hold of me and I wasn't responding. And she saw on my Facebook, I had put a post, which crazy enough, I had typed with a pen in my mouth to peck keys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it had said I had gotten in a horrible car accident. And she called me. And this girl is now my ultimate best friend. We are
Oh.
still best friends. I have not separated from this person in my life. She has been my soul sister that I've navigated all life's ups and downs with for the last 15, 20 years. And it's because instead of asking if I needed help, she just knew to show up.
Wow. And I think it's scary. Like you said, people at that age haven't experienced trauma, but it's scary. And I think people don't know how to get close to someone's pain and suffering.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it. And none of us do, right? Just like when we know someone has lost someone to death, it's hard to find the words, but just say something, do something. Like there is no rule book, there is no right or wrong. And I think you sharing your experience is a big lesson for us, for our listeners. Don't ask, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I know. I totally agree with you because, kind of in the similar way, some of my friends, they'd be like, okay, I don't want to overstep. Like, I don't want to, do too much, but, I want to come to your surgery, and I'm just like, no, come, I want you there,
Yes.
and then like, I'm going to need help, after surgeries and during chemo, like I'm going to need help. Just come. And, like that's just so important, especially for somebody that's that young. I mean, you have your parents, or if someone has a significant other, like obviously that person's there, but people need breaks. And so really I can't reiterate that enough. Just show up. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And so
it also helps me to normalize what was going on.
Yes.
I had felt very much out of who I was. And so to have like friendships and to be doing things, like for me, the reason education was so important to me is it was the only constant in my life, the only thing that hadn't changed. So I kept showing up to school, to classes. And the more I showed up, the more my professors, the more my friends like wanted to be there and like help support me because I kept showing up for life.
Yeah.
So you took this experience and this, horrible affront to your body and totally turned it around. Like you took the lemons and you didn't make lemonade, you made limoncello.
I know. You
were making lemon drops. You were doing something big.
So you had the setback. Now let's hear about the comeback. What happened from there?
Well, the fun thing is I think my dad kind of encompasses it in one phrase, as he said, "You're my daughter with no glass ceiling."
Who I met, by the way, fabulous man.
Oh, adorable.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, what had happened is when you are that close to experiencing death, you become unstoppable. And so there wasn't anything that anyone on this planet was going to tell me that I couldn't do. And so it took me a while to get to that courage, but once I found myself, I was on fire. So I get out of my casts, and my whole journey, the whole goal was graduate school, get out of these casts, and get my life back. And it didn't happen overnight. I got out of my cast, I reached the finish line, I looked in the mirror, and I didn't know who I was anymore. I was very heavy. I hadn't exercised in years. I couldn't feed myself, so I wasn't making good choices on what I was eating. And obviously, we know when we're depressed and sad and all that, we're definitely not making good food choices. And
cheeseburgers and milkshakes for me, girl.
Yes. And
mac and cheese. Don't forget that.
Yeah, it's survival, right? You're not thriving, you're surviving at that point. And so my goal in life was different. Now, after the cast, again, I looked in the mirror and I had an identity crisis, essentially. And I was like most women in the fitness industry, where I had high motivation to change, but no education on what to do.
Wow. That's an interesting statement. And so true.
And I went to the gym like every other woman, and I got on a treadmill because that's the only thing I didn't feel intimidated by. But I also thought, okay, well, if I'm doing cardio, I have to be completely out of breath and gassed and red in the face and sweating. And if I didn't do that for 60 minutes to 2 hours, I wasn't doing enough. And then I would go home, and I was raised with the generation that was slim fast diet, fat free, everything, Snackwell cookies, like salads with nothing on it, and croutons were a snack. And so, I wasn't fueling my body right, and I was getting frustrated. And so I was taking, weight loss like supplements and all of this. And if I got
Phentermine pills, the caffeine.
I was doing like Hydroxycut and
yeah, like all those, like,
Elite Pro.
The caffeine.
I'm the Dexatrim generation.
Oh yeah, yes.
I used to take Dexatrim, and I weighed like 116 pounds. So, like, what I was thinking was crazy. But anyway, that's another podcast.
Like sitting there with caffeine going through your body, and you have no choice but to exercise.
Exactly. Right. I mean, and you had regained full function of your hands.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So this is after PT and all that. So essentially, if I lost the weight, I was gaining it back 3 times as bad. So like traditional yo-yo dieting. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was a sales rep for all of downtown Indianapolis for Anheuser-Busch, a distributor. Yeah. And I had a coworker, and in a male-dominated field, my coworker asked me to do a mud run. And I thought, oh my God, I've never run a mile in my life before without stopping. And I was just handicapped. There's girls wearing sports bras and booty shorts. There's no way that this is me. And so I said no. And 9 months later of asking me incessantly, I finally said yes to a local mud run, like an obstacle course race. That was called Morgan's Mud Gauntlet, and it was in Ohio. Mm. And I went, and I did it, and I loved it. And it was because no one there judged me. Everybody there was at a different level of their own fitness journey. And if there was something that I couldn't do, there were so many people there helping me.
Yeah.
It was camaraderie. We crossed the finish line and everyone had the same medal, and I loved it. Loved it.
That's awesome.
I have a friend that does them, and she loves them too. And she's someone whose weight fluctuates, and she's done them at every size, her heaviest, her thinnest, and feels the same. Like there's great energy and camaraderie.
Well, there's so much and so many different opportunities to improve is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So it gets addicting because you're like, okay, well, if I did 3 monkey bars this time, I'm going to do 4 next time. And it's very empowering to see yourself improving. And so what happened, and you'll learn with me, when I am in with something, I'm all in, full send. I did 48 races in 9 months.
Wow.
I lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
And by the end of that first year, I was told that I had qualified for the World Championships. And when I looked back at all the races I had run, I had qualified at 95% of them, unbeknownst to me.
Wow.
And so crazy. And so for that year and the next 5 years, I did represent the United States at the professional level for that sport.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
The Finnish long drink isn't just an ordinary beverage. It has such a rich history. Do you know it, Gina?
I do. It was founded in Finland, and the country was still recovering from World War II when they were preparing for the Summer Olympics, and they were worried that they wouldn't be able to make a drink fast enough for its patrons.
So along came the beautiful Finnish long drink, which is crisp, citrusy, but there's alcohol.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's yummy.
Don't call them seltzers because they're not a seltzer, but they taste like a Fresca, and it is real liquor citrus soda.
It's become our favorite drink, and we hope it becomes yours.
So get yourself to your local retailer to ask for some long drink because they come in some great variety packs with 0 sugar and original full flavor.
Cheers.
I like to exercise, but not to the extremes.
Well,
I'm a yogi. I'm like chill. I'm a chill exercise.
Chill worker outer.
Yes, I am.
Well, I think what it was coming from a lot is I was having imposter syndrome. Right? For me, doing the races was fun. And that's why I was shocked when I realized I had qualified at so many, because I was still this handicapped person who couldn't do things. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me I'm a professional athlete that's like going to represent my own country. And I'm like, but I was just doing this for fun.
Yeah. The dots were not connecting.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And truly they didn't connect until this opportunity. And so I got a phone call at work is what happened. Wow. And it was a casting company. And I went through the entire process, and I was one of the 16 lucky individuals who was chosen for season 1 of American Grit on Fox with John Cena as the host.
Love that.
Ooh.
Yay.
Okay, so we have to take a quick detour. Like, tell us a secret about reality TV. Like, is it all real? Like, what's staged? Because I love reality TV. I love Love is Blind and The Bachelor. Those are my favorites. And I'm always wondering, like, is this all
What's
fake?
real? I know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Are they really proposing at the end of that shit? Like, come on.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's going to be different depending on the type of reality show that it is.
Sure.
And again, this is 10 years ago, so it's still a little bit different now too. So when it's a competition show, when it comes to competing, the reality, like, people have to be completely hands off, because you have your like the people who govern like the lottery and things like that, like the Federal Gaming Commission, they're present.
Oh.
And they cannot interfere at all in the actual competition, because there's money. There's a monetary prize.
Got it. So that's so basically you're saying that is 100% real. The competition is
100% real. Yeah.
Okay.
What about like the drama between contestants?
Well, so again, on the first reality show that I did,
this was American Grit.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's 16 pro athletes. We each represented the United States in a different sport, and it was testing the human will of never giving up by putting us through military training style competition. Okay. So you're going to have a little bit of a different demographic that is used to winning and used to losing. Okay. So you're not going to get like these huge, like, dramas where it is us being frustrated with so many people, because that is also part of our life, like winning and losing.
Like, you're not pulling Candy's hair and saying, back up off my man kind of shit, right?
Correct. No.
To me, I'm honestly, like, full transparency, I'm not a reality TV person because I just can't stand that. Like, people love that drama. It drives me insane.
Well, there's not to say that there's not drama.
Right.
But in the show, so we were 4 teams of 4, and you have every episode is 72 hours of filming. Okay. So imagine how much content they have.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So they are trying to like build characters. Okay. Right. And we call them on the flies. So it's your interview where one person is by themselves and they're just talking about whatever happened that day. Okay. Right. They pull you off and it's called an on the fly.
Okay.
Now, by the questions that they're asking you, you can kind of feel what role they're wanting you to play.
Got it.
By, like,
they're leading questions.
They are. And they're very much so. It's easy to get frustrated and on the fly, because you'll tell them the answer and they'll say, okay, tell me again, but with a little bit more energy. And by the third time, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. So they're saying, like, so did you know that Candy was like secretly watching your every move and trying to undermine what you were doing? And you're like, what?
Who is Candy? Where'd you pull that name from?
I don't know. She's just like a reality star name.
That is so funny.
But anyway, me and Candy, I'm not feeling her. So just letting you know.
So there is a little bit of like natural stuff that happens because you have a bunch of different personalities in the same house, right? And that's going to happen. And people are going to get frustrated about winning or losing, or when they lose a teammate, you're going to see happy and sadness. But yeah, so like I could kind of feel like the role that they wanted me to play. I was the only single person besides one other guy. So they kept asking me about this castmate, and I'm like, my dad's watching this.
Yes, I always wonder
like,
about
no.
that. Yes.
No. Like,
that is so funny.
Yep. So there was no romance for me on the show. I was very much so in the competitive spirit.
I love that. So after your reality stint, then you went into personal training. Talk to us about how the personal training has evolved and kind of into what you're doing now.
Yeah. So after the reality show, I moved down to Houston, Texas, and I had like what I thought was the dream job. I was going to be the race director of one of it was the third largest obstacle course race company in the world.
Hmm.
And so 3 months into me following God's direction, the company went under.
Oh.
And I fell
But
flat on
one
my
door
face.
closes, another opens, right, Brooke?
These are the dots connecting looking back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Love it.
so I decided that I felt like, number one, fitness was the space I needed to be in. Number two, I had just such a moving experience on a national platform, being able to share my story and what had happened in my accident. And I felt God tapping my shoulder saying, you don't need to make the most money in the world. You need to impact people's lives. And so I quit my career because I decided not to go back into the business world. And I decided to get my personal training certifications, and specifically one that holds in high regard called a corrective exercise certification, which allows me to collaborate with physical therapists, helping that rehab process go back into the gym, which is what I was missing in my journey. And so I've had essentially a 10-year career in that industry at this point, and I have been able to have a profound impact on a lot of people's lives who I very much so care about as a result. Yeah.
First of all, I love that you've had this full circle moment, right? That you took what happened to you and filled the gaps, and now you fill them for someone else. But I didn't even know that existed. So I think that's so fascinating because it's more than just physical therapy, right? Like we want to get back, we want to be functioning, but most people want to get back to what they were. So I didn't realize that there was a corrective personal trainer for that. That's wonderful.
So the gap exists in the fact that, like, okay, so say you have like ACL or a knee surgery. Okay, Lindsey Vaughn.
Yeah, right. Oh, that was brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, horrible. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So say you have something like that. Well, when they do surgery and you're cutting into muscular structures, what that surgery in particular will do is shut down and put the quadricep to sleep. And it also shuts off the glute. Okay.
Interesting.
So what the physical therapists do, really, really good ones, will fix it the correct way. A lot of times they're not addressing the muscular imbalance that happened as a result of the surgery. They're getting you moving, but they're not getting you moving optimally. And so where a corrective exercise specialist picks up is, I mean, I've gone to many physical therapy appointments with my clients so that physical therapist trusts what I'm doing, because there are also non-educated trainers as well. Okay. Sure. So I'm not saying everybody's perfect in either industry, but where we pick up is we help to rebalance those muscular structures, to turn and wake them back up so that you're not having surgery on the other side 2 years later.
Wow.
Because if we're moving and we're not balanced, and we have muscles that are overactive and we have muscles that are not doing their jobs and ones that are working too hard, you're just going to experience those injuries along the kinetic chain on different parts of your body. And so basically when we say the kinetic chain, we start at the foundation of the house. If there is a crack in the foundation of your house, it's going to move its way up. So if your feet are not moving properly, it's going to move itself to the next joint, to the knees, and then it moves into the hips and the low back. And then that's when we end up with a lot of postural problems, a lot of low back issues, a lot of core disengagement, those types of things. And so it's important, even if you haven't experienced injury and surgery, we have muscular imbalances as a result of our habitual day-to-day lives and those repetitive movement patterns and how we mold to our furniture. Right? Sitting at a desk all day causes what we call kyphosis, rounded shoulders.
I know, I'm straightening my back as well.
I know, everyone's sitting up.
Stick that chest out, girl.
That's right. Right?
When in doubt,
It's out, chin up.
When in doubt, stick it out, yes.
But even like that, I mean, I myself, even as a fitness professional in this industry, I have muscular imbalances, but I have the tools in the toolbox to fix it and get you having quality of life. So what I say the certification is for is quality of life insurance. We're not meant to be 80 years old and in pain and being in nursing homes. That's not exactly how the body's designed to feel. Yeah.
We are all about that. We are lining up behind you. Hands up. We do not want that. Now you're in Boca Raton, Florida. So how does someone who's listening, because we're being listened to in 65 countries, so how do they find someone like you if they want to do this kind of training, either with or without an injury elsewhere?
Yeah, so everybody in the world can benefit from someone who is corrective exercise certified. That specific certification is through NASM, okay, National Academy of Sports Medicine. There are other certifications similar, like ACSM and those kinds of things, your college degrees and things like that. They can also work the same way. So it's not just the CES, there are other ones, but you want somebody who works with injuries and is certified to do so, okay? That means they've kept up with their education. You would just go to your local gym and just ask what certifications that trainer has or kind of what experience they have. Sometimes physical therapists have decided that maybe they make more money in the training space. So if somebody is physical therapy, you know, maybe they are a personal trainer as well. So ask your local gyms. You can also go online and kind of like search in your area who's there. Sometimes good physical therapists will also have a network of referral basis, right?
Yeah.
So I have physical therapists down here who they have done sessions with me and they know the big picture view of it. And they understand that we're not competitive with each other, we're collaborative, right? What I can't do, what's outside of my scope of practice, I give to them. What they can't do, they give to me. And kind of it's a symbiotic relationship. And it's one of those things, like I tell a lot of people down here, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
It's for what's best. Yeah, it's for what's best for the client, right? So it's not what's best for my pocketbook. I have to be the discernment as somebody who's an authority in the fitness industry to say whether this is beyond my skill and I need to refer out, or if this person is somebody whose life I'm going to change.
Right.
You are just a font of knowledge. I feel like we've touched on so many amazing things today. Yes.
Yeah. And so now you tell us how you stay well and how you like kind of keep up all of this stuff for yourself.
So a couple different things. I work for a company that is very near and dear and close to my heart. I met this incredible woman when we were running a Spartan race in Chicago. We ended up pacing with each other on the course, and she decided she was going to have, like me, a life-changing experience. She went through a divorce. She quit her job at a big financial firm, and she started a company called Explorer Chick, which is women-owned, women-only adventure travel.
Wow.
And so I went through the entire growing pains with her of the whole company. And at this point in my life, I am an adventure guide for her. So once a month, I get to lead. I'm United States based. Her company is international, but for me, because I have dogs, I'm in the United States. And I lead women on adventure hikes and adventure mountain climbs once a month, all over national parks in the United States.
Wow.
Really cool. So that keeps my fitness up. And I also am a dive master, and my favorite animal is to dive with sharks. So I'm in the water a lot with my little sea puppies.
Again, my adventure friend Allison, she does that shit. I'm like, she sends
puppies
videos
that bite.
No, thank you.
They're actually a lot smarter than we would think. Like the same discernment a cheetah on the savannah would have, it doesn't go after everything, right? And so there's a very famous woman. Her name is Ocean Ramsey. She's a big icon in the world, and she is a change maker, and she's a wonderful woman, and she's a shark behavioral specialist, and she's changed the name of the game for how people interact with sharks. And so that and being certified in shark ecology has helped me have a different relationship with them. So we're all scared of things that we don't know, but once we have education on it and we understand things, we tend to be less fearful.
True.
But yeah, so I do that. And then I also like lead a lot of different wellness events down here for women. So I'm active. I like to kayak. I like to paddleboard. I'm definitely a salty little mermaid creature.
Love that.
So anything I can do outside, I tell people because Florida's flat, I have to get elevation somewhere. So if I can't go up, I got to go down.
Mm-hmm. So nature is a huge part of your wellness. It sounds like water, land, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something about nature that's really, really healing.
Yes.
And so for me, like I struggled with a lot of PTSD from the accident, which I know from what you said that you can relate to as well. And so I needed to find a different way to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And my healing is in nature, and nature for me is meditative. And when I'm in the mountains, it is looking at God's creations and realizing how small I am in life and how beautiful and big things are, bigger than I could even imagine. When I'm in the ocean, it is sensory deprivation.
Yes.
There is really no sound. You can't smell, you can't talk, you're not thinking about your phone, you're forced to be present, and you're looking at God's creations and his creatures.
So, Brooke, we ask every guest on our podcast what well off means to them. What do you think?
A couple things. So as I've had some time to like reflect on this, and I've been watching your guys' podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah. For me, well off has never had anything to do with being financially stable, which is what I think most people think of when they think that somebody is well off. For me, it is having lungs that can breathe, legs that can move, and a heart that desires for more.
And hands that can function.
And hands that can function. You know, I think being well off is being healthy. I think a lot of people don't know how good the body is actually designed to feel. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm standing at the top of the mountain, I just thank God, because it doesn't have anything to do with what I look like. I don't have a mirror. I don't have anything. I'm backpacking. I'm grateful for the things that are in my bag that allow me to survive and endure. I'm grateful for legs that don't hurt as I'm walking. I'm grateful for lungs that can breathe and provide me oxygen so I can keep moving and so that I can see the peak of what God's creation looks like. And so for me, that is what feeling well off means.
I love that.
What a beautiful answer. And from a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing your story and enlightening us today. And how can our listeners find you for whatever it is, whether it's adventure or fitness, inspiration? Where can they find this all?
So the best way to get a hold of me is by looking on Instagram. And it's going to make total sense now that we have the whole story.
You know, I was wondering and I was going to ask you, but go ahead.
Instagram at Mountaintop Mermaid.
Makes total sense now.
Yes.
Total
no, it does. I'm like, why is she a
Total
mermaid in her thing? But you know, and Tara says that there's no accidents in meeting people. So I just, you know,
kismet,
it's very kismet that we met in Florida at the Pepe's thing, and so grateful for you to come on here and share your story with us.
2 fitness people that love pizza. Did you hear it?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. See,
yes,
you can be fit and eat pizza.
Yes, we were chowing down on some pizza, and then we went for a run afterwards. Not really, but you know. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brooke. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
It's been wonderful.
Care. All right, pretty
Come to
mermaid.
Florida anytime.
We plan on it.
Tara will be there like next month.
Yeah.
All right, take care.